New details now in the Romeoville family. Tonight, police have cleared out of the family's home, taking more evidence and leaving neighbors with more questions. CBS 2's Sarah Maki is in Romeoville, uncovering new information about the suspected in his history with police.
Heartbreak keeps coming to this home. Thursday afternoon, it's written on the side of the tow truck that picks up cars from the Roleon Bartolomei home. Police remove their yellow barriers. A crew boards up the windows. One by one, all signs of tragedy here disappear, except for this, a growing memorial now showing the faces of the family inside.
A couple who had been together for many years had two children and just bought their first home in April 2023. The pair were said to be hardworking people who wanted to provide stability and a good life for their kids. The home they purchased was located at 512 Concord Avenue in Romeoville, Illinois, which is a suburb 45 minutes outside of Chicago. The house was the perfect home for the family of four and was situated on a nice quiet block. However, the family would only be in the home 5 short months before tragedy took place inside the walls. The investigation would take over a year for all the full details to be laid out, and the public will soon find out how a web of deception plus a fake criminal organization destroyed many lives. Investigative documents revealed the discovery of a year-long deep dive into a terrifying crime that shook up a suburban Chicago community, answering questions that have for an extended time remained a mystery, including the terrifying motive for the heinous crime. There were more than 100 pages in the crime report that were publicly released in October 2024 in that 2023 demise of the Romeoville family of four, including their 2 young children and 3 dogs. 32-year-old Zoraida and 38-year-old Alberto, along with their 2 boys, Adriel 9 and Diego 7, plus their 3 dogs, were found massacred inside their home on September 17, 2023, after police were called for a welfare check. The intense investigation into their unaliving will ultimately lead police on a crazy and bizarre chase in Oklahoma that catapulted a year-long hunt for answers beyond what many could have ever anticipated. The documents revealed that the case began well before the massacre, with an affair between Zoraida and her co-worker, 31-year-old Nathaniel Huey Jr., who was known by Nate. According to authorities, Nate's longtime girlfriend, 50-year-old Armelinda Palomo, knew Nate was having an affair and created a series of fake social media accounts to make Nate believe he was working with the members of a Mexican cartel, which would ultimately order him to commit the crime against the family of four. Armelinda, acting as one of her fictional characters in her made-up mind, frequently referred to Nate's relationship with Armelinda. He would encourage Nate to be faithful in his relationship, to stop speaking with other women, to treat Armelinda nicely, and to engage in personal intimacy with Armelinda. Communications with Nate eventually led Armelinda to convince Nate he was under constant surveillance by the organization and that the leaders questioned his loyalty and trustworthiness. Based on years of communication, Nate's response seemed to indicate he fully believed the information being fed to him by Armelinda, but did not know Armelinda was the person he was communicating with. Her interactions from fake accounts and phone numbers extended to both Zoraida and Alberto, revealing details of the affair and also intimidating the family. On September 14, 2023, Armelinda allegedly sent Nate a message from a fake phone number telling him that his side chick Zoraida was a mole who was been targeting him. So over the days following, Nate called in sick to work and began planning how he would take her life with the fake account he believed were members of the cartel. Conversation consisted of searching the neighborhood to locate cameras, planning how to get in and out the house, and learning the house behind Zoraida was vacant. Plus, the account told Nate to make the scene appear like young kids burglarized the house. Believing he was truly working for a hitman in the cartel, Nate later carried out the crime while Armelinda waited in the car. When he entered the home, Nate cut 2 screens to indicate a potential break-in before he walked in through an unlocked door to the kitchen. When Alberto exited the room to see what the sound was about, Nate began firing shots. As Alberto ran towards where Zoraida and their 2 children's bedrooms were located, he was shot multiple times. Nate then moved on to a bedroom where Zoraida and her 2 children were located, but she was up against the door yelling for help. Ultimately, Nate fired shots through the door, striking Zoraida multiple times before he entered the room and fired again, tragically unaliving the 2 children. 2 dogs were shot in the kitchen as they tried to run away from Nate when he was leaving the home, and a third dog was shot in one of the bedrooms. Then there was spray paint found on the walls, in which police say was an attempt to throw investigators off by creating the appearance of kids committing a senseless crime. After the tragedy, Nate and the fake account that was run by Ermelinda discussed the crime, with Nate expressing concern he forgot to take Alberto and Zoraida's phones from the home. On September 17, 2023, Romeoville police were called to the home for a welfare check because Alberto didn't show up for work and Zoraida's family could not reach her or the boys. When police officers arrived, they found a crack in a window and saw overturned tables inside. When they walked in the back, that's when they saw 2 unalive dogs and made a call to make entry. Once they entered the home, that's when they saw a complete nightmare. Zoraida, Alberto, the 2 kids, and dogs were all gone and had been shot a total of 20 times. Through Ring doorbell, iPass data, cell phone towers, plus flock camera systems, police were able to track a suspect vehicle along a route from Streamwood, Illinois to Romeoville, and that person in the vehicle that was driving was Nate. The morning after the execution, Nate went to work like nothing happened, and detectives interviewed him on the job that same day. Nate admitted to his relationship with Zoraida, but denied any involvement in the crime. He then refused to allow police to search his GMC Yukon at that time and continued to lie to authorities. Later that same day, he was seen transferring a bag containing firearms from his GMC to another person. That bag and its contents were later seized by authorities. Detectives were putting things together very quickly, and there was no escaping justice. As police went to a home Nate shared with Ermelinda, they said that they saw the suspect's vehicle from the Romeoville crime parked down the street. That same day, Nate and Ermelinda traveled to a nearby Target store, where Nate met with his mother while Ermelinda waited in the car. During that meeting, police said Nate confessed to what he did, though it is not clear if his mother immediately reported that information to the authorities. By the next day, Ermelinda was reported missing by her family members, and the pair had fled. As police across Illinois tracked the vehicle, authorities said probable cause for an arrest in the investigation did not exist at the time, and Nate was just a person of interest. A flock camera system in a town in Oklahoma later picked up Nate and Ermelinda's vehicle at a Walmart. Video obtained by news sources from the local police showed the 2 walking in the store together, side by side, shopping for electronics and in the makeup section. As they left the store, seen on camera smiling, police officers were in the parking lot waiting. Video shows officers chasing after the suspects, who managed to flee in their vehicle. A short distance later, the GMC drifted to the center divider and crashed before coming to a stop. After the vehicle came to a rest, a fire started near the driver's compartment that was possibly set by Nate. Nate then shot Ermelinda in the head, unaliving her. Then he shot himself under his chin, but was still alive, so he shot himself again in the head, ending his life as well. When police approached the GMC, Oklahoma officers could be heard on body camera saying Nate was an armed and dangerous suspect out of Illinois, while another was heard saying, "She's the missing person endangered, he's the suspect." A responding officer replied, "It didn't look like she was being held against her will."
We first shared new details about the murder of a Romeoville family of 4 last night on our news at 10. A police report revealed new evidence on a motive. The suspect, Nathaniel Huey Jr., and his fiancée, Ermelinda Palomo, fled to Oklahoma after the crime, where they following a police chase.
And now a stunning revelation from investigators who claim Palomo played a much larger role.
At first, her family thought that she was missing and was taken against her will by her fiancé, Nathaniel Huey Jr. We now know that is not the case. The police report we first brought you yesterday shows a lengthy past several years where she created multiple fake profiles in an effort to persuade Huey that he was being watched by a dangerous Mexican cartel and that he needed to carry out murders.
I know you know what's going on and why you were here.
The day after Zoraida Bartolomei, her husband Alberto Rolon, their 2 kids and 3 dogs were Romeoville police already had a suspect, Nathaniel Huey Jr., who was having an affair with Bartolomei, but Huey's fiancée, Ermelinda Palomo, is someone police wanted to get to know.
We're investigating.
Palomo seen here on police body camera appearing both stoic and surprised to hear about her, but new police reports show that not only did Huey family, but Palomo herself persuaded him to do it and was the mastermind behind a gruesome crime. That police report says Huey had a history of unfaithfulness in his relationship with Palomo. She knew about the affair, and in December 2021, nearly 2 years before the Palomo created multiple online personas she used to communicate with Huey under the guise of being Mexican cartel bosses, shot callers, hitmen, and hackers. The investigation says she used a Pinger mobile app to generate phone numbers for each persona and would encourage Huey to be faithful and eventually lead Ermelinda through these characters to convince him he was under constant surveillance by the organization. The fake accounts also sending messages to Rolon and Bartolomei, their children, if she didn't stop her affair with Huey.
And we're going to find out who those phone numbers belong to. Is there any reason why those numbers would come back to you?
It escalated 2 days before when police say Ermelinda, disguised as one of the cartel hitmen online, sent Huey a text that a mole was planning to attack him. Later, she identified Bartolomei as the mole and helped plan the saying, "Drop dogs as they present, move through, locate, hit 2 adults first, then 2 kids." He did as he was told, but never knew it was his own fiancé behind a virtual world she created.
Police said while the latest findings marks an end to months-long investigation, it doesn't put an end to the pain many have to experience in the wake of this gruesome crime. This was such an evil and scandalous plot on that family of 4. A pathetic woman so scorned about an affair between her man and another woman went to the lowest extremes to keep her man to herself. Instead of taking her anger out on her cheating fiancé and leaving him for good, her elaborate plan not only stole the lives of so many, but cost her her own. Nothing can prepare a person for such an incident, and nothing can justify such a senseless act of DV. Although finalized and case closed, the finality of this case unfortunately does not mean closure for so many continuing to grieve. My heart truly goes out to all who are still grieving and struggling to put the pieces back together. Cheating is not fair, but should never lead to such a tragedy, especially involving innocent children and animals. Just a whole nother level of evil. No matter what happened between Zoraida and Nate, her life mattered, and her kid's father's life mattered, and the kids definitely mattered. They all should still be here. So please don't forget to comment your thoughts and prayers for this family and everybody involved in this situation. And hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.